Right, hello there mate. Right, we'll have a quick go at doing this then. In fact, I'll just take my headphones off, I don't need them on. Okay, right, so when you get into the main screen of it, there's a few things I'll just quickly show you which are useful. This one down here, the snap to grid down the bottom left, make sure that's on unless you really just want to mess around doing stuff that doesn't really matter, but that you need to have that on so it'll actually snap to the grid coordinates. And if you go to File, Design Spark Options, in there you can change the grid, you can change the snap. So you go to snap down here, you can change the increment. So if it's not quite fine enough, you can change it to 0.5 or 0.1, 0.001 or whatever. You can make it go lower. So in here you can change those snap settings if you can't quite click on the line, but for the most part you'll just be able to click on the line. It'll automatically click to the line. So if you wanted to, there's three modes in here. There's a grid mode where you draw onto this grid, and then you've got this hatch mode here which is partial grid and partial 3D, and then you've got full 3D mode which is just 3D in 3D space. Okay, some of your drawing tools you've got here is rectangle, you've got a three point rectangle, you've got circles, you've got arcs and stuff like that, splines and things, so your basic drawing stuff. These are really all you've got to play with. You haven't got to do much other than that. So I'll just show you what you and you can put in your basic shapes here, but I very rarely use any of those. So if you click on the grid like that, and you just click anywhere, if you type V, it will come to an over the top view. So this view here is an over the top view. Okay, and so if you wanted to draw, if you the way I always do it is I always normally start side on or plan view, it doesn't matter. But say if you're doing a charging base, let's just show you for instance. Now if you pick up a rectangle there, if you want to make it a rectangle base, if you click on define the rectangle from the center and you click in the center of the screen there, yeah, it'll actually define it. As you click and hold, it will define it, and you'll see the scale coming up on the side there. If you press and hold the space bar, Lewis, like that, you see how that's highlighted 36. That will be your width, so you can change that now to anything you want without having to drag it. So let's make it 50 mil wide, say. Okay, and then you'll see automatically it's changed to the depth dimension there, but you can tab between the two. So if you press the tab key, it will change between the two there. Okay, so if you click on that one, so if we make that 30 mil high, so side on, that's now 30 by 50. Okay, in size. If you press enter or press escape, that will get rid of that for you. So you've got your basic shape. Now if you want to move this shape onto the line, if you double click one of the lines, it will select all of the lines like that, you see, and then you can actually then go to this option here to move, and you click on the red arrow in the middle there, not the green because that's left and right, that it's this arrow here, because remember you're still working in 3D here. And then you can bring, if you bring this line, if you drag that circle and you drop it down to this line here, you see how it's turned to a square? Well, now it'll actually move. This is the origin of the object now, so it'll actually move from this origin point. So when you actually move up there, it'll actually drop it right on the line for you, more or less. My snap's a little bit tight, but if you put a cross in there, it will definitely drop it. It'll drop to the intersection of that line. So if we have a little look and see how close that's got, yeah, because I've got a very fine snap I'm working with on here. So if you click on then the arrow like that, and then you see it's dropped onto the grid now. Okay, so now it's important to try and keep the object on the grid. It just makes things a lot easier. Now what I find is it's very tempting to put rounded corners on now, right, for your shape, which you can do if you go up to here and you click on rounded corner, you click there and you click there, and it will do a 5 mil radius for you like that, you see. But you can do that afterwards, so you don't need to do it here, but you can if you want to. So for instance, you could put another radius 6 mil there, and you know, you could get carried away and do an even bigger one there like that. Oh, hang on. Like that, okay, odd shape. But if you don't like any of that, you've got multiple undos here, you see, so you just click undo, 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 and it'll go all the way back to where it was. That's really useful, the undo feature, and you can keep going back on that and go all the way back. It's amazing. What you want to do before you do anything in case it crashes is save it. So first you click on save as, and then you save it somewhere and just call it, I don't know, Lewis, like that. And that's not how you save it as an STL. You're just saving it as an RS design document at the moment. This is not about exporting it. Okay, so that's very basically your very basic shape, but you want that to now be in 3D. Okay, so what you can do when you change to this mode, you'll see how that's changed to a solid shape now. Okay, which is a flat. If you imagine in 3D space, if you go to the spin option here, you click on that and you click and hold the spin, and then you can spin that around in 3D space. You with me? Okay, and then what you do if you want to fill that out is you click on pull, and you click on the face you want to pull, and you hold, and then it will pull that face out. So let's say we want to make this base 50mm wide. Again, you can either drag it out to 50, or you can press the space bar while you're dragging, take your fingers off, and then type 50 in there, and then that's got your 50mm, yeah? And then you can spin around. There's your 50mm shape. Okay, if you've got a wheel mouse, wheeling in and out zooms you in and out, so you can spin around. Okay, now what you can do here is, if you want obviously to get a cutout in the top of it to drop something in it. Okay, so if you spin it round, if you click on select, hit the face that you want to get on the grid, and then press the V button, and it will then orient that top down so you can see it. Then what you need to do is you need to put the grid on top of it, so anything you draw on this grid will be added to the shape. If you don't want to add it to the shape, what you can do is, you see down here, you can pull the grid off of the object that you've got. So if you click on that move grid icon there, and then you spin the object round like that, you can click on move, sorry, I'll click on the grid again. You can click on that and you can pull that arrow, it'll pull the grid away. You see that, how it's pulling it away from the object? So you can pull it away, and that way whatever you sit on there is not going to be added to the object. It's not going to join up with the object. Okay, so if we can do that, so if you press V again, now we're hovering above the object, so what we create on here will not be added to the object. So the other thing you can do, if you're not sure about your dimensions, on here you can click the little dimension thing and you can get the size. So you can see here we're upside down, but it's 50mm, so we know that's 50mm. I mean, it's this one here, look, the little ruler thing. You click on there again, and you can see it's 50mm square. Okay, and you can turn these off if you don't want to see them over here. See in the annotation pane, just switch them off and they'll go. Okay, so what you do then, you want your, say it's a docking station, you click on your rectangle. Remember, define the rectangle from the center and draw in your shape roughly. So let's say that's going to be something like that, say for instance for it. Okay, now that isn't on the actual object at the minute. If we put that into spin mode, you'll see that we're hovering, the grid is hovering. You see that? It's hovering above the object, right? Press V to square it up again to get your view straight. Then what you do, if you click on pull, you see how now when I click on pull, it changes to 3D mode. You see how this now is a square there and a square there, but they're separate squares. See here? Surface, you can turn these surfaces on and off, so we can make that disappear, look. On, off. Okay, same with that one. On, off. We can hide ones, so it's really useful this. You can hide whichever surface you don't want to play with. But what we'll do here is I'll show you how you cut away, or just cut a hole through that. That's probably quite a good one to show you. So if we spin this round, if we click on the pull feature there, you see how we got there, and you notice over here you can either add material when you pull or cut it. If you don't do anything, it'll cut it out. So as you drag that shape through, look, it's cut a big hole through the middle of your base. Yeah, okay, obviously you've got your undo, so click on your undo, click again, there's your undo. Okay, so we want this. I mean, you can. There's other ways. If you lay it flat on the base, you can measure how deep the hole is. But there's other ways you can do that. But I'll just show you here. So we'll do cut, and we'll just drag it into there, and that is. You see how the distance changes there? That's the distance away that it's going to cut. That's not the depth of the hole. It's the distance from the top. So we'll just drag it down, say that much. You can do this more accurately if you want to. But there's your shape, your basic depth. You can measure this if you want to. You can see how deep it is. So you can click on either on this one, which is for the dimensions, or this one, which is for the calipers as a caliper feature, which is quite useful. Let me just see how long this video is. I was just checking that was recording. It was recording. So yeah, where were we? Okay, we've got our basic shape cut out in the base there, Lewis, as you can see. If you wanted to measure the depth, just click on the calipers, click on that little line there, and it shows you, look, 17.8 millimeters deep that is. So if that isn't deep enough when you've done your hole, if you just go back, you press escape and then go back and select your pull, you can make it deeper. And so you're 17.8, so now you've got to do a bit of maths. Look, you've got 20.8 now, haven't you? Because you've gone 3 mil down, okay, or 3.1. If you press the space bar, like I said, then you just type in the depth that you want, okay? And then again you can spin round. For moving around the object, if you click and hold, you can spin. If you hold the shift button while you use that, you'll move it left and right, okay? Zoom is, I use zoom on the mouse wheel in and out, and pan is the same thing. You can pan around, or right mouse button, left or right mouse button, or pan you around, okay? So if you press escape. Okay, so we've got our basic shape here, but Lewis says, oh, I think I want it a little bit more rounded. I don't like the sharp edges. That's easy. Now, if you want to make all of the edges soft, so say this top edge, you want to make this rounded, okay, round the top, make it a bit better looking. If you go to pull, I'll show you on the one edge. If you click on just one edge, you see the options that come up. You've got rounded, chamfered, you've got extrude the edge. So you can pull just that edge up if you want, or you can pivot the edge so it's got a slant on it, okay? Most of the time you'll be using the rounded edge here. So if you click on that and you click on, so the edge, so you show it so the edge is only highlighted. So not this, not that, just the edge like that, okay? And if you click, you see, look, click and hold and drag, you can round, just go up and down with the mouse like that. It'll give you a nice smooth edge. So let's take that again, hit the space bar. Let's give that a 10 mil, a nice rounded edge of 10 mil. It shows you on there. If you want to change it, you see, well, that's highlighted like that. You can put in 15 in there and it make it bigger, or you could put 8, type 8, make it smaller. You with me? So while that box is highlighted, it lets you change the radius of the bend. Okay. Press escape, zoom out with the mouse. A tip to get into is when you get the pull feature on, you can inadvertently pull with your next movement. So if you press escape or press select like that, it will get you off of it, so you won't do that. So if you're not sure what that was, if you think, oh, I've just bent that and I don't know what it was, just click the calipers, click on there, and it shows you, look, cylinder diameter 16, fillet radius 8. So you can pull that one to the same. So if you pull that one like that, click to the edge, click and pull, just press your space bar, press 8 on there, and it'll do that one exactly the same. Press escape to get rid of it, okay? And then if you want to say do these ones equally, if you click on that one and then you click the control on the keyboard and click on that one, it will do them together. So now when you do pull like this, and you don't have to click on it to pull it, you can go over here, look, and there you go. Doesn't give us much more options. So let's take that, say, to space bar, take it to 5. I think that would be enough. Right, it already did it. Hang on a second. What do we do there? Yeah, it crashed on me, so that's why it's important to save what you're doing. But we'll go back in there and I'll quickly get us back to where we, this is annoying, it brings up this splash screen. I'll quickly get back to where we were. So press the V to get it that shape. Do this, get your rectangle in there, define your rectangle from the center, click, get your shape, boom, like that. You can leave it on here for this application, it won't matter. Spin it, change the mode, pull it down. Now you can get your depth. That is your actual depth from the surface there. So let's hold the space bar, 20 mil. Okay, there's our 20 mil. Spin, so we can have a quick look at it. Right, what do we say about pulling the edges to round them off? Click one, hold control, click the other one. Let's pull. Let's give them a 10 mil radius on there. Okay, that's enough. Not worried about the side. Now you can do the sides as well if you want to. You could do the sides, you could do, you know, the sides of it, the actual pull these faces as well if you wanted to. But I think that's probably fairly good, isn't it? That looks alright. Now if you wanted, you could put like the little recesses in the bottom. I'll show you how to do that. Press escape, press select, click on that place, press V to get it the right way up, put the grid on top of it, and then you can just draw your little circles for your feet. Just click on there like that, make that make those 5mm, okay, and then they're probably a bit near the edge, so if you click on these you can move them. Click on it, oh hang on, I sometimes do that. Click on move, click on that, and then zoom in a little bit, hold these green arrows, and that will bring it down to there, and then cross over like that to there. That's just dropped it down a little bit. Zoom in and out with your mouse. If you're happy with that, then you can just copy it. Now there is a mirror function in here, but I don't really use it. What I tend to do is I tend to measure stuff, or you can draw a little square into the corner like that. That's another way of doing it. But if you count the squares, that's 1mm. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 squares in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 squares down. And if you forget the diameter of your circle, click on the little calipers, click on there, 5mm. Press escape, and then click on pan, go across there. So you're 4mm in, get your circle. Okay, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on there, drag it out, hold the thing, 5mm. There you go. There's your circle. And then you basically just do the same thing for these ones here. And then if you want the indent, so you can put a little rubber pad in, like I sometimes do. Change your mode there, so it's in 3D. Spin it. All right. Turn it there, so you can see both of these. Click on pull, click that one, hold control, click that one, okay, and then just pull it back, and then hold spacebar. Let's make it 2mm deep, and then press escape, and then you've got your little recesses, like you see. Now if you want to, when you're in this mode and you want to see how that kind of, because at the moment it holds shift and then you can pan, at the moment you can't really get an idea where that base is really, because it's a solid lump. Okay, so if you go over to display and change it from shaded to wireframe, right, and then go back to design and then spin, look, you can see now in the wireframe where that base finishes, you see. So you can see here that there's the bottom of the base and there's the bottom of the unit. Yeah, you got me? So that's quite a useful feature. If you can't quite gauge how deep something is, change how it looks, so it's just a wireframe model like that, and then that way you can physically see how that line is compared to the actual depth of the base there. It's quite a useful feature to do that. So yeah, that's really how you do something as basic as that. There's another thing I want to show you, which I'll just, because I don't want to make this too long, this first one, otherwise you'll never watch any of these. Is you can, like I say, you can turn these off. So we'll save this though, because that's important, because you can see it sometimes does crash. So get used to regularly saving it. I think there's an option you can auto save. It will do it regularly. So if you don't want to see that, you can turn that one off now. Okay, and then the minute you create another object, it will come up on here as a solid. So if you just click the grid anywhere you want, click V for view, it will straighten the grid up like that. Okay, you'll notice this grid, it only spreads as far as the object you put on it. I find that a bit annoying, but it's just the way the program works. So I'll show you another way, something quick. If you're making like a project box, okay, so if you wanted to make a box to put something in, so if you do it again, just draw your square, press spacebar if you want to put exact dimensions in. If not, just do that, and there's your basic square. Change the mode to 3D, click on spin, turn it, pull. See how quickly you can do this. Get your shape, get your depth of your box, press spacebar. You want a 30mm box, I think, something like that. Press escape. Okay, you're still in wireframe mode now, so if you go back to the display, change the graphics to shaded, okay, go back to design, spin, and then you've got your little project box here. You've got your basic box. Now what they do, they offer a really nice feature on this, and it's this feature for cutting out the box. You see there's some options up here which give you split, body, split, combine. This one here is really useful. It's called shell. Okay, when you click on this one, it will remove one of the faces and create like a shell. So say for instance this was our box, you want to take this lump out to make a case, right, to put something in. So what you do is you click on that shell, and then when you go over here, you see how when you hover over the mouse it comes up with this thickness here. Now that's the thickness of the case that you're going to make, the indent. So for most cases sort of 2mm is enough, 2mm thickness. So if you type in 2 in there, you press enter, and then you click on that face, look, it just hollows it out straight away. How good is that? I mean, mean, you could do that by putting a square over it and lowering it down, as I've just shown you, but it just makes the whole operation so much quicker. You see that? And so instantly you've got like a little box. There's a slicing feature there which you can use for a split body, which will make a lid for it as well, so you can do that. You can put fixing holes in the box as well. That's quite easy. I'll just show you how you could do that with this one. So if you select this, which is your base of your box, that's where your fixing holes are going to come up from. Press V to square it up. Put the grid onto it, okay, then go into the corner and get your circle, and get your circle started there. Take your circle up to the edge. You can either move it to the edge or pin it to the edge. If you do that, it will be naturally inside the plastic anyway, so it doesn't matter if it overshoots like that, because it's going to be molded, manufactured like that, as long as they're all equal. So then if you go back to the 3D mode in there, okay, you can see you got your shape there, look. And if you spin it about a bit, this is a really useful feature. You'll like this one. Save you having to mess around pulling that to the right level. You see this here? You got up to. When you click on pull, so you click on that object, pull there, so it's orange. When you click on this, up to, it will pull this up to whichever surface you want. So you want this, say, to go to the top of this edge here. You click on that, look, and it pulls it right to the top. See? That's quite a useful feature. Now you can pull it down if it's too close and you don't want it there, that's no problem, and you can do that. So you'll see now that if you want to get your hole in there, that's really quite easy, because you just press select, you click on that, press V, zoom in, put your grid over the top of it so it gets your grid there, get your circle in there. Now you see how it's giving you the center, look, it's automatically picking the center up. You click on it, put your size of your hole that you want, like that, press space, get your hole in there, whatever, spin, click on spin, and then in 3D mode, like this, spin, turn it, and zoom in and out. You'll zoom out a little bit, and then select pull, click on that. We need a 10mm hole there, 10mm, and there you go, you've got your 10mm hole in your fixing thing. You can put a self-tapping screw, or you could put a threaded hole in there, and then you can just copy that and do it all round the box. And you can either manually draw a lid on, or there's another way of adding the lid on, which I could have shown you there, where you just put a line across the top of it and it will slice it and it will create the lid for you. But yeah, so that's how you create a basic box, and the same applies here. You can pull the you can make it wider, so you could just do that. Look, if you wanted a bigger box, yeah, just pull on the one side and it will make the box bigger. If you want to make it deeper and shallower, it'll do that way. And then if you want to make it thicker, you hold control down and it'll make that one side thicker. You see how it's done there? So if you hold the control key down, it'll make the actual side thicker, or it'll pull it away. That's actually just pulled the top surface away, so that's not strictly what I wanted to do, but you delete that there. So that's created a copy. That's another useful feature, Lewis. When you're doing the move function, if you hold control down, it would make a copy. So now this is all part of one object now, because the way I've drawn it, but you can actually draw separate objects and join them together. But if you wanted to actually copy this now and have two boxes next to each other, for instance, if you go over here, you notice how it highlights stuff that's underneath it that's not exposed. If you click on the main solid there, which is that one, we've got a surface there which we don't want, but if you click on that selects it all like that, okay? And now when you click on move, if you click on move, this will move in whichever direction you want to go. So if you want to go down, it's on the green. If you want to go blue, there, it's left or right, it's on the blue. And if you want to come in and out, it's on that red one. But say we want to move this over here, but we want another copy of it. If you hold control down while you're on that blue, hold the control key down, then click. As you drag, look, it copies it. So you've got two there. Okay, and the nice thing is that these two stay in the same orientation. So you can if you want to join them together, or have a hole that goes through that one and through that one in the same place, they both stay. No matter how you spin it, they'll stay in that orientation. Doesn't matter what you do, they'll stay there. Unless you physically move one individually, they'll always stay there. And what you then do, what I tend to do, is I name them. So you rename and call that box 1, and then same with that one, rename box 2, and then you can also change the color of them as well if you want. You can actually change, so if you want to identify them differently, it's in this one, so you can make it red. Yeah, horrible color. Yeah, I knew it was in one of these. I don't do it too much. I tend to stay with this sort of teal color, this green color. So yeah, you can change each object to make it a different color if you want to identify it differently. So this is just a starter really. There's so much you can do with this, making gears, cogs and all sorts, drawing pipes and all sorts of things. So I think I'll leave it there, mate, for now. There's quite a lot to digest in that, isn't there? It's quite a long video, so I'll leave it there. But that's your basic starter, so that hopefully should give you a bit of an idea of what to do. Just have a little play around with it, and if you get stuck, just ask us and I'll give you some more help. But those sort of, basically it's V to get your view, you know, click on V, and then to get your grid on there, get your grid on. That's how you do that. And then it's changing between the modes, 3D mode to spin, you know, press V to get your view, click on something with select, press that one to get your view to this. So that's what you basically want to turn your view to. So if we spin this and we want to view that pane like that, we select that one and then we click V for view. But you'll see that as it's spun, anything that we draw now on the grid will be on this box, not the other box. Okay, if you want to get to this box and you don't want to switch this one off, or you want this one to stay there, when you select it, if you go to this option here, project to sketch, it will stick the grid. You see that? It's now stuck the grid on that box, on that face just there. So now when you press V, you're working off of that box. The other box is essentially behind my eyes, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's a really useful feature, that project sketch. So you can project onto the surface that you want. You with me? Okay. So I think I'll leave it there with you, mate. I hope that's been of some help. And if you need me to do another tutorial or you're stuck, I can always, if you wanted to set TeamViewer up on your machine and then invite me in with your password, I can help you as you're making something. So if you do get stuck, because I know it's really frustrating when you're trying to do something and you can spend hours trying to figure out how to do something, but if you just give me a shout and then I can log in on your machine